everyone.
Hey, y'all.
Good evening. 8 o'clock on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
29. The 29th.
Oh, the 29th. I'm like 29
today's the
what?
29th. Yeah, so, wow, what a weekend. I still feel a little tired from this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is
didn't
it just
get
me or
enough
is it
rest.
hot in here? I'm hot.
Oh, honey, you are hot.
No, seriously, it's hot in here.
No, seriously, that's why I married you. You are hot.
Okay, so
Are you having
I will punch you in the face.
Oh my goodness! See how violent you
No,
is?
do not use those words
I
that I
cannot believe how violent you are.
think you
like
were
that.
about to use.
I tell you, we had a little kid competing this weekend. That was her first competition.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a cutie.
She's adorable.
She's adorable. Yes, to use your words. And
Adorbs.
you know, she always makes us laugh.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Her personality is something else.
Yeah.
And today I had a talk with the girls. We got to work and fix some things. They did pretty good. They getting better.
Mm-hmm.
They did pretty good. And talked to my mother yesterday. Well, I told to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying because when I was a kid, I lived in the Bronx. Of course, you know that.
Yep.
And I found out that our guest today and I live close by.
Okay. At the same time, or just?
Probably. Well, he's a little younger than me. He's a little younger than me. So probably at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Vince Cecere. I hope I'm saying his name right. Cecere or Cesare. He will correct us when he comes on. Hey, Jane. Thank you for watching. I'm turning the heat down because you guys don't know, but it's really hot in here.
She turns up the heat. She turns it down.
The weather in upstate New York is really crazy right now.
Yeah.
It was really nice a couple days last week. Then yesterday, it was like torrential rains, and it wasn't terribly cold. It was really windy the day before, and then today it was really windy.
Well, it's like bipolar weather.
The weather is crazy.
Yes. It goes up and down. It changes all the time.
Crazy.
There's a judge that every time we go to a meet, she always says, people make small talk and they say, how's the weather in Monticello?
The same as it is here. We're not that far.
Yeah, she always says that to the kids. How's the weather in Monticello? Because every time that they do the weather, they'll always mention Monticello.
Always.
Always.
Always, always, always. Who else is on? We see you guys coming in. Jane, thank you for saying hello. When you guys come in, make sure you say hey. Say hi. Hey. Sounds like Kentucky. Mother Nature needs her Prozac.
that is correct. That is true.
Oh my gosh, crazy. Like when you think of spring, you think of nice weather. I mean, it doesn't have to be hot, but it should be nice.
What does the spring do to you? Does it change your mood? Does it change your emotions?
It does.
It does?
It does.
Because I didn't notice before, but yeah, it does something to you.
How could you not notice that before?
Well, what I had noticed is that, my flexibility come back without me stretching.
Oh, yeah. That's always a good thing when the weather is warm. But like as far as spring is concerned with me, emotionally and physically, I feel rejuvenated, and that's what obviously, hey Robin, that's what obviously the spring does. And if you notice, when this spring came, the first day of spring, you started seeing less and less snow. And then yesterday I was looking and I didn't see any snow.
It looked like it was going to snow yesterday.
And if you guys are in upstate New York, or if you're not, this winter, specifically February, was brutal. February was so bad. We had one snowstorm in particular. That's only one of them. One snowstorm in particular where we got 3 feet of snow in maybe like a day and a half, something like that. It was brutal. And then we had a snowstorm before that. We had a smaller one after that, and it was just like, when you're shoveling, where are you going to put the snow? The only other place to put the snow is on your neighbor's lawn.
Yeah, and then they throw it back to our lawn.
And then they yell, and that's not good.
It's kind of like that. I've been doing martial art for a long time. And one of the things that I noticed is that martial artists tend to do lots of things.
Like what?
Different things. People think that they do just martial art and that's it.
Oh, right.
And I've been noticing that some of our guests that do martial art also either do music or they write books and things
multi-talented.
Multi-talented.
So there's more than one of you.
Yeah, I didn't think there was, that there wasn't. But no, I didn't think that there wasn't. I know that martial artists tend to, when you think about martial, you think about everything. They play guitar, they do music, they write, and the guest that we have on today, he has done all of that stuff.
Yep.
Yes, all of that stuff.
You talked about how you were away, and you were only away Saturday night. Yeah. And, when I say this, I don't want you to get a big head, I don't want you to, start puffing up your chest, but, I almost felt kind of like discombobulated without you.
Well, I got to tell you that I felt the same way.
Really?
It was weird.
Ooh, I want to hear this.
Well, I still haven't recuperated. I didn't sleep well.
Oh, no.
I didn't sleep well. I just kept tossed. And, I'm an early riser. I get up around 5 o'clock, do my Qigong. And, but this time I kept waking up. It was like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And I went to bed like 11 o'clock.
Right.
So I kept tossing and turning. And I don't think it was the bed. I just think I'm so used to, you haven't been away doing any films or anything like that.
Yeah, don't remind me. You're so used to my leg just hitting
on your back.
Yeah. You in the back. Well, I have witnesses to what happened on Saturday. So Layla, and who is the youngest in the house, and my niece Alyssa.
Right.
It was so crazy. Okay, so you were leaving. You had left. And I was like, okay, just make sure you leave me your key, because he took my car. And he wasn't even gone 10 minutes. I'm so embarrassed. He wasn't even gone 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was already calling you. What was I saying? Honey, the battery in your key fob is not working, so I can't start the car. But with the keyless entry, you can pull the key out of the back and at least get into the car. So we did that. So I took the key out, opened the door, and then me, my daughter, and my niece, we got into the car, and we were just waiting. He was like, okay, I'll just turn back around, because he went to pick up the other coach. So he came back, and then I was thinking, I was like, man, I didn't take any of my masks out of the car. I'm like, whatever, we have disposable masks in the house. And then I'm like, oh my God, no. The reason why I called you back, because I didn't have my license or my credit card. None of that. And we were getting ready to go to Marshall's. Marshall's just opened in Monticello.
Right.
So this is funny. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? So he came back, brought me all that good stuff, the license, the credit card. I took my masks out of the car. And then before he had gotten there, I'm like, oh my God, Layla, where's the door key? I can't find the key. So I'm looking in the seat underneath me. And Layla's looking in the seat underneath her, because she sat in the front. And I'm like, Layla, where is the key? I'm looking at it on the ground. She's like, did you leave it in the door? I left the car key in the door.
Yeah.
And just the entire day, it was almost like a part of me was missing. And that might sound a little corny, but
wow.
If you think about it, you guys, you see us together online. We literally do everything together.
We cook together.
We're at home
It's like a
together.
dance.
We're home together. We work together because we have the gym.
Uh-huh.
If we are going to the store, like, hun, you want to come with me to the store? Okay. It's crazy. So I feel like a part of me was missing. A part of my mind was missing because I was all messed up. The girls were laughing at me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, get it together, woman.
Yeah, I'm not ignoring you and listening to your story. I'm just
No, I know.
for...
We're trying to get Vince on. Hey,
Yes.
Louise, you missed. I don't know how long you've been on, but you missed a hysterical story about how half of my brain was gone on Saturday.
Well, she was hysterical. I tell you that when you get used to being with someone all the time,
yeah,
and then that person is not there, it's like there is a part of you missing.
Sure.
It's all energy, I think.
You're like my left shoe.
Whatever does that mean? Explain to me.
Okay, so one day we were in church,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my mom is head usher.
Right.
She also does other things in the church, and she is very close with the pastor of the church. Like
right.
That's, I don't want to say pastor's assistant because it's not like that. Confidant, I guess. And anyway, I can't find the right term, but it was so funny. One day, I think my mom was away or something like that. And we were talking in church, sort of, just relaxing a little bit. And,
right.
and the pastor's daughter, who is the pianist, she's
Mm-hmm.
the church musician, she said, she was talking about my mom. She was like, your mom is like the pastor's left shoe.
Oh.
And I lost it because it's true, but it's so funny. I had never heard that expression.
Right.
Never used it in any other way, but I felt like just now it was appropriate. You are like my left shoe, honey. Because where do I go without my left shoe?
I see. I don't know.
See? I don't go anywhere without my left shoe.
You're just going to have alone. You're just going to have.
Exactly.
So it was interesting because we've been doing this for a year now.
Almost.
Well,
we didn't start in March.
Oh, okay. So we've been doing this for a while. It's close to a year.
Just about, yeah.
And usually now we've been doing the interview.
Thank you, Louise.
We've been interviewing other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past Thursday, I was on the other show on Thursday Exchange with Charles Marinello and Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was on the other side of the, I didn't realize how I got used to interviewing people, not people interviewing me, but I was like going and going and going.
And it's funny because you were answering their questions,
mm-hmm.
but you weren't answering their questions because you're so used to.
I did.
You did. You caught yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, wait, what was the question?
It was a good show. I enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to those guys. They're really nice guys, and did a couple of movies with Charles.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to do some more coming up. This week we had to have a meeting for our own little movie that we're doing. So we're just stretching here, and he wanted to come in earlier. But
he almost dropped his phone.
Yeah, but I got it. I'm quick like that.
So is Vince having technical issues?
I don't know. Let me check.
Okay.
Because he said he was coming around 5:05. California time.
Yes,
which
is 3 hours behind us. So you guys, last week was crazy. If anyone else that's on is in the acting or entertainment industry, you know that auditions can get crazy. So, since everything is online now, everything is self-submit. You got to record yourself and send it in. And I must have sent in like 4 or 5 auditions and submitted to a bunch of other things. And yeah, Louise, shout out to West Coast. It's crazy. because the other night I was like, oh my gosh, do I really want to send this in? I am so exhausted from auditioning. And, I got a little discouraged.
Really?
Yeah, and I know you have to say that, but you know this. I feel like emotionally, it really affects you. Well, I know it does for me. It really affects me when I'm constantly auditioning. Right. And, you're either waiting to hear back or you don't get it. You hear back and you don't get it. So that is very hard. And so I had a challenging couple days, and it sort of goes in cycles, and so I'm waiting for it to pick up because that literally everything was shut down. And now the productions are opening back up. You're getting all these auditions here, submit for this, submit for this, submit for this. And then when you don't book anything, it can be emotionally draining and taxing.
Yeah, it could be.
I
understand that. I mean,
yeah,
emotion could drain you, even just thinking about it. That's why I said don't worry about things that you I know. Don't worry about things that haven't happened.
Yeah.
I think the old saying is when you cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah.
So you just go put it out there, do your audition, and then wait. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then you do another one. And still waiting for Vince.
I feel like I'm in a really, really good spot. I'm really lucky to have a partner like you, because whenever those things happen, I'm always like, honey, I feel, and I tell you how I feel, and you give me like a little nugget of wisdom or encouragement, because I think it's important to have some sort of support.
Yeah,
because rejection is not easy.
Yeah, nobody wants to be rejected.
Oh gosh, no.
Yes,
Jane, it is.
Even when you're doing things like posting something on Facebook, we all want to get that little like.
Yeah.
And as much as people, I don't care.
Right.
The people that say I don't care, those are the ones that care the most. Okay.
The one thing I don't stress about.
What's that?
Is my birthday.
Okay.
That's why it's not on Facebook. And I prefer to keep it that way, but this guy every year, it's crazy. Every year I have to tell him, don't post about my birthday, don't post about it at all, and then lo and behold, he still posts about my birthday because he just can't help himself.
Well, listen, we have a couple of common things with Vince. I do, and like I said before,
Okay.
I'm from the Bronx. From the Boogie Down Bronx.
Boogie Down Bronx, yes. Yeah. And Vince is from the Bronx.
He's from the Bronx too. And I watched some of his comedy thing.
Yes, I'm always over your shoulder.
When I met him, I didn't think of he's very imposing. He's big, he's muscular, and the last thing I thought was comedy.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think comedy, but then I saw the hat, and the hat kind of
gave it away.
Yeah, the hat kind of gave it away.
The picture in front of the American flag.
Yes.
Yeah, that does not spell comedian. It doesn't.
Yeah. But you know who remind me of? Another friend of mine.
Another friend.
Think about it. I'm going to ask him if he knows him when he comes on.
I don't know who.
Sam Richards.
Oh, okay. His style of comedy. Right.
Yeah. Okay, and he's very funny. So besides being everything that we mentioned, of course, we're going to read. My wife is going to read.
Yeah, we'll read a little bit of his bio.
We are going to bring him on now, okay? Because there's a lot of people that are anxious to see him.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
First off, my great humble please apologies because, I use AT&T.
Oh,
okay. A little company you may have heard of here in America. And I've been with them since they was A. ever since they got TNT, the service has been terrible. But when they was just A, I remember having great service. Anyway, I finally got to you.
Wow.
You
okay.
know,
Well, you sound good.
I think Scotty had a better chance of beaming people up from a disrupted planet.
And so it begins.
Oh my gosh.
So already making me laugh. You know.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, awesome. You know, there's a lot of people that were actually, you know, we had Luis and we had Jane. There's a lot of people that were waiting to see you.
Lots of martial artists are on right now.
And yeah, and I just found out, well, I didn't just find out this morning, but I got a message that we're going to be on the 24-hour network, martial art network.
Oh.
They want our show to be there as well. So we
need to have more martial artists on. So this is a good start today.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and they've been talking about you. Sifu Alan Gorber sent me a message this morning and said, oh, he's a great guest.
He's a good man. He's been very kind.
Awesome.
So
Jane, hey, Jane Sensei, she's. Let me tell you, if you were to take Jane, Louise Gosling, Jane, Cynthia Rothrock, and a couple of others, and put them in, forget it. I'll take them back to the neighborhood. I got a whole bunch of people. Girl, I never hit a girl, but those girls will go back and get them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, ladies, you heard it here.
I'm planning on doing that because I'm friends with all of them.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. Wonderful, wonderful community.
Yes, yes.
I have said that before because I'm sort of on the outside looking in. I'm not a martial artist. I just sort of tag along with this guy here. And I said that to him. I said, the martial arts community is like, it's like a brotherhood, a sisterhood. Yes. Everyone together, you know, you connect with someone, people stay in touch. And it's all love. Like you meet, hey brother, how you doing? You see the person once or twice a year, but it's so much love and respect for one another, and I absolutely love that.
Yes, and Louise said that she's down. She's down to go with you down there.
You know, at the event, I'm going to teach a seminar. He's allowing me, and we got a couple of other surprises at the mega event, so that I don't want to say yet. But it'll be a lot of fun and get to see a lot of old friends. I do want to say something about the martial arts that I really notice now as I look at it all the way back. The one thing I truly noticed is the guys who could really do, or men or women, obviously, and could actually really do and had skills and actually rose above the normal. And I'm not going to say that anybody's normal or above, none of that, but they rose up through the arts, used it as a ladder to get them to better places in life.
Right.
And I think they got the true message of spirituality that comes with that everybody is truly a brother and nobody can beat everybody. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And the big, we put a big emphasis on, well, some people put a big emphasis on the physicality or, you know, how tough a person is or this. The toughest gentlemen I have ever been blessed to meet in my life were also the most humblest, gracious, wonderful people you'll ever meet.
Right. Right.
So it gives you a new understanding of what tough means, you know?
Right. Exactly. You know, I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said that if you had to tell someone you're a lady, then you're not. So if you had to tell someone how tough you are, then you're not. Yes. Most of the tough people are humble.
Yeah.
Until you mess with them. Then it's a different story. Now, you're from the Bronx, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm from Arthur Avenue.
Arthur Avenue, right?
Yes.
Did you know when I was younger, when I was in high school, I lived in Arthur Avenue on 180.
7 blocks away, 187.
Right.
Wow.
And there's a bakery. I forgot what the bakery was. There was a really good bakery around there.
It's called, I'll give it to you right now. It's called the bakery for pastries is called Artuso's.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other place is called it's coming to me, AD Place. We used to go to, people leave from New York to go to Florida. They'd fill their trunk with bread and bring it back like it was narcotics. They were bringing bread back.
Wow.
And, you get pulled over. They're like, I think you're smuggling something. I'm like, yeah, I'm Italian. I got a whole load of Italian bread in the back. Go ahead, look.
Cannolis.
That's probably the only place where the bagels are better than the local bakery here. Because I know the bakeries and the breads. I know, and I've heard people talk about it before. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that is a famous bakery.
Yeah,
famous.
Yeah.
Are you in the East Coast? You're out of Ohio, aren't you? Is that
no? We are in Monticello, New York, upstate.
Monticello, New York.
Yes.
Wow.
Upstate.
I was only up there once. There once. Yeah.
Oh, really? Did you perform up here?
No, we buried a guy over a ridge somewhere over there, and he said we was in Monticello, but I never really saw it in the daytime. I hear it's beautiful, but a lot of woods.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's hysterical! I love it.
Oh, you gotta have fun, right? If you're not laughing, laughing's healing.
Now, which came first for you, the comedy or the martial art?
Okay, I think that we're born with a warrior spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the first thing, it's funny that you ask, the very first thing I did, I was a dancer.
Oh.
And people don't know, I was in the movie Beat Street.
Uh-huh.
Breakdancing started in the Bronx.
Yes. Yes.
Guys with the cardboard boxes.
Uh-huh.
And I literally spent years in jazz and ballet.
Wow. Me too,
Now, see, that I did not know.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful.
But I didn't realize you had to wear a thong thing underneath the tutu. So, no.
I do
want to say, you're a gymnast, though. I've seen some of your stuff and read about you. Let me tell you, I totally can honestly say the thing I always wished I could do, even as a dancer and jump and all those things, I wished I was able to do like acrobatics in like handsprings, aerials. I was never able to get it to that place. I always thought those guys that could do that were the most fascinating to watch on camera when they could really do all that stuff.
That probably would have been an easy transition for you because the men have to wear leotards.
Yes. I got no problem with that. Maybe you also didn't know I was a Chippendale.
Oh, there you go.
I worked at a club in Manhattan it was right across from Dangerfields.
Okay. I know where that is.
That's right. And the choreographer's name was Nick Denoyer. He got assassinated and then we changed careers. True story.
Oh my gosh.
No,
I'm not pulling you. That's true.
Okay.
I started in gymnastics because of the martial art.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing martial art, and then they needed one more person to make the team. Benjamin Franklin in Manhattan. You remember that school?
Yes.
The science school. So they saw my flexibility and they needed one more person, and they said, "Would you do it?" And then I got hooked. So doing the martial art and gymnastics became, how people talk about, running, free running.
Yes.
Well, we used to do that back then.
Oh, like parkour.
Yeah, parkour.
Okay.
So we used to do that in the street because we didn't have enough money to have mats. So
I did. What's that? How do you say it? Parkour. How do you say it?
Parkour.
Yeah, I did that once when a guy in a Buick tried to run me over and I had to jump an 8-foot fence. And that was the only time I ever did that kind of thing. And believe me, when there's a Buick about to hit you, you believe how high you could jump.
Yeah. Yeah. That would make you jump high.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I never knew that a human being could get over a fence like that. But when you get a guy gonna run you over in a car, you think you got a cape on.
Trust me, I believe you. I believe you. I have those things that I thought that I couldn't do because I was running and scared.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, you know, people tell story back then in the Bronx. They're still talking about it. That's why I left.
You know, these guys that go running and they do all this running and jogging. I had a cousin that dropped dead at 52 trying to run and get healthy, okay? So, and these other guys, they always talk about run. You got to do your run. Listen, first off, I'm 245 pounds more, and I don't run from too much. If I start running, everybody else should really just start running with me because whatever's behind me is very scary. We got to get out of here. Yeah. But the truth is, people say, let's go running. And I say, from what?
From what?
I mean, that's the only time you run. If you know what I mean? I understand you got to get your cardio. I'd rather sit on an incumbent bike and do it this way.
Well, you know, they say that you could imagine things. And if you visualize it, you feel it. So usually what I do is I make the kids run and I'm watching and I feel it.
Hey, he's on the board. Put him on the board.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, now we already started laughing.
My face is starting to hurt.
She already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of your comedy, okay?
Yes.
So people know what we're talking about, right? So
okay,
here we go.
How you doing?
How you doing? You know I was going to sound like that even before I opened my mouth, right? Like you don't got to be a mathematician to figure out what I'm all about, right? It'd been really crazy if I'd have come up here and been like, hey, how y'all doing? You'd have been like, that ain't him. Can't be him. I used to do some organized collections for UNICEF. But then I did a few movies, you know, and once you get on a big picture like Analyze This and your face is really up close, you got to stop criminal activity. I got to be the only guy in history that got picked out on Netflix, right? And I used to at times, anybody ever wear an initial ring with the initials on it, right? Don't do that if you're going to be a criminal. Trust me, this is criminal 101, pal. Trust me, okay? I once punched a guy in the forehead. I left VC in his forehead. They picked me out right in the lineup. I said, it wasn't me. He said, look. Oh, all right, here. You know, I got my name. I didn't actually, my mother and father didn't pick my name. I popped out of the box. And the doctor named me. They were like, my father was like, what is it? He's like, it's a Vinny. My father was a real scoundrel. He was one of these gorillas from the neighborhood. He used to cheat at cards all the time. He used to cheat me all the time. He would always cheat. So when he was at the very end, when he was in the ICU, he was on oxygen, you know, I would play cards with him in a hospital, right? And every once in a while, I would stick his oxygen hose in the drawer and pinch it off. And he would be like, I changed the cards real fast. And then I like undo the hose and he'd go. I go, Jim. How long was I out? You did it
again? That is some funny stuff.
My goodness.
Thank you.
Do you know a guy named Sal Richards?
I do. I worked with Sal.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. You know, I talked to him 3 days, and you know, and then he passed away.
Yeah.
And
when did he pass away?
Yeah, just recently. What would you say?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been several months though.
Yeah, three days before he passed away.
We were trying. I was trying to get him on the show.
We were trying to get him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at you, and you kind of resemble his comedy, the same type of humor.
I worked with him. We did a film together. with James Caan and no Eddie. It was James Caan and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay.
We did it in Florida. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Matthew Modine was the other lead. Anyway, and he was also an avid card player. He liked to play cards all the time.
Right. Yeah. He used to work up here in the Catskill, and I never missed his show.
He used to play the Borscht Belt.
Yeah.
See, you know that. Look at you. Look.
Listen, if you're born and raised in Sullivan County, you pick up a little bit of Yiddish.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say borscht anymore? Did they stop that word?
No, you can say it. Absolutely.
You could say it on this show.
Listen, we say everything. People stopped me a long time ago. They said, that guy's too Italian.
Oh, no, never.
I see how many commercials you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to say anything. I just look at it. You definitely fit the what can I say? You play it up though, the stereotype, right?
They say you should, when you're an actor or a comedian, you should talk or do what you know.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
If you don't smoke and you're on a film and you pick up a cigarette because you think it's a good piece of business to do while you're doing your lines, and you're a non-smoker, it's totally unbelievable. You know what I'm saying?
And it won't be natural. Sure.
Yeah, sure. So the same thing in acting or and the thing that I think about with people is, this is what I do. This is what I know. This is where I come from. And people generally love that character. That character got my name on the Comedy Store wall. Mitzi Shore walked in, saw me on stage. She saw me on stage do my very first time. I wrote about it in my book of Idiisms. I walked in the very first time on the Comedy Store, stepped on the stage, got on there by maneuvering, and she happened to walk in right then, and I was doing the New York thing, and she made Dice and Sebastian and so many other guys, Dom Herrera. She loves that character. And right away, between my physique and the way I speak, she looks at Tommy, who is the show manager and ran the Comedy Store, and says, "Look at him. He looks like a cartoon character." And she goes, "Hire him, Tommy. Hire him. He's good to look at."
That's awesome.
And that, you get your name on the wall once you get passed by Mitzi. Otherwise, you never get passed. And now, rest in peace, she's gone. But the truth is, you play what you know, and that's what's funniest. And it's funny you say it's that the first thing that people would not realize is comedy, when comedy comes from tragedy, and the more tragic your life is, generally you have more wealth of experience to draw from to be funny. And we prefer the light side of life because a lot of us have had enough darkness to last 3 lifetimes. So better to make people laugh and come together and heal people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like the story of how you got your part on Analyze This. I was looking for the DVD.
For the DVD, yeah.
Did you hear the director's cut?
No, because I couldn't find it. But
no, if you go on the DVD, if your selection, you go to the director's comments when it's playing, you'll hear Harold Ramis talking about me in the thing, making comments. But you read it in the book, obviously, or you just saw it on the film?
No, I had the film. I had the DVD.
About how he got the part.
So I'm about how I got the part, because I wrote about it in the book. I figured that's how you got the story.
Yes.
Yeah, I was, when I was in South Florida, that's what I did. I collected money for a lot of Italian charities that are good in athletics. So that's what I did. And when this casting came out, they said they're looking for a guy just to do these 2 lines. They didn't tell me it's 2 lines. They just told me to go down to the Fontainebleau, and that's where everybody was. And I walk into this room. I had the day before, I was making so much money in the street. I had just bought a brand new Corvette. I could care less about the role or whatever the heck it paid. He's like, okay, we're going to go for a movie role. Let's go. I pulled up. I told the guy, keep my car out front. The top is down. You know, typical Guido guy walking in the door. And the guy thinks, I walk in the door and I see these guys wearing all these suits in a line. And let me ask you a question. Okay, you go all the way back to, I'm sure that you know the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yes.
So when you're talking about rap and the history of rap, and I know nothing about it, but you got to know them as an originator. Those guys started a lot. Mm-hmm. So that's history, in other words. When you walk in and you see guys, when you're really Italian and you're really around people and you walk in and you see a bunch of guys trying to act like what they saw another guy playing in a movie what an Italian is like, what they think is supposed to be, right? First off, everybody's suit is 20 to 30 years out of date. You could tell they ain't worn it since their coronation or their confirmation or whatever they got. There's mothball. Everybody smells of mothballs. You know, these guys are like, I got a role as a wise guy. And yeah. And I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? These people, don't you know the cemetery's 3 blocks to the left, fellas? You got to be kidding me. So I walk in and there's Harold Ramis. And, you know, have you ever met any of those gentlemen before, sir? Have you ever met some street politicians, we'll call them? Have you ever met one?
Street politician? What is
the Bronx? If you was in the Bronx, I'm sure you crossed a couple of streets where some street politicians worked. Right. The point I'm trying to make, and I'm being very politically correct, not that they care.
I know.
When they say things, they really could care less what your opinion is on the way back. They're saying it because they want you to know something. That's how they talk. There's no conversation. They're telling you something. So when I walked in, I saw Harold Ramis, and I had just watched him on Ghostbusters. I seen him, and I go just like this, pardon my French. I go, no shit, he gone. How you doing? And that's how I said hello to him. And I thought the casting director was going to have a heart attack.
Oh, my gosh.
So her name is Lori Wyman out of Miami. Wonderful lady, wonderful casting director. She got me in a few things. She brought me in when people said, no, I don't want to see this guy. For some reason, they wouldn't bring me in. And the director said, I don't like any of these people. She goes, well, why don't you see this guy, Vince Cecere? And the director says, this was Michael Diner when I did The Crew with Burt Reynolds. He said, why don't you see this guy, Vince Cecere? I've been trying to bring him in, and your people won't see him. And he goes, I never even heard of him. She goes, can I just bring him in? He goes, yeah. And I walked in, and I'm so pissed off that this guy wouldn't see me. But you'll see those 14 Irish guys to play an Italian, but you won't see me. So I walk in the door. And he's right there. And he goes, deliver this line. I go, how about if I just choke you out right here in this room? That's what I want to do to you. He's like, give this guy the job. Holy mackerel. And that's how, you know, I got that on the crew. Yeah, I got that on the crew, but you on Analyze This, it was the same thing. When I walked in and I seen him, I started talking to him, and then he said, read the line. And I had this one line, and the line was what my friend Dave Corey ended up getting. It was Jelly says to the bodyguard in the hallway right before I clip him, he says, you want a sandwich? And he says, what kind of sandwich ain't too fattening? And he tells him half a sandwich. And I got to come in and read this all the way from, you know, wherever the hell I was. To me, this is a waste of my time, because at that time I was important, you know, doing something else. So all of a sudden, I said, you know, really, I had to come down here for this. And Lori Wyman's like, why? You know, please, Vinny, you got to go. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me just ask you a question. What are those guys over there doing? What are they here for, those guys? And he goes, oh, they're for the bigger role, the hitman role, the much larger role. And I said, what, like tough guy role, hitman role? He goes, yeah. I go, those guys. And he goes, yeah. I go, those are tough guys. And he goes, yeah. I said, pal, why don't you put us all in the same room, lock the door, you go outside, whoever gets out, that's the tough guy. Guarantee it. Let me show you the tough guy. He thought it was funny, the casting director. I like this better because I can see you and respond to you. The other way's tough. You know, every time they put you on solo, you feel like you're some street guy talking to yourself, walking down the street. And when you hear the response, they go, is he laughing? Is it funny? I don't know.
It's funny.
So, but when I said that to him, Lori Wyman, she goes, oh my God, Vince, thank you. Goodbye. I said, okay, hey, good to meet you. And I left, and I walk out. And as I get out there, she comes running out behind me, goes, Vince. And I'm like, oh, she's going to tell me never to come back ever to a kid. She's going to yell at me. Here I go. And she goes, he wants you to read for the other part. I said, what part? She goes, the hitman role. And I watch all these guys. There were like 10 of them in a line go like this. Oh, man. And I'm like, yes, okay, good. And then the same thing, they give you a paragraph, they tell you to go read it. And you just got hit with it. And I don't know if you've ever done any movies, but when you get hit with a paragraph, it takes a little bit to absorb the dialogue, what's going on in the scene. You know, you need a few minutes. He gives it to me. I get like 3 minutes. I get it. I say, yeah, let's go in and do this. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got the flavor for what they're looking for. So, and then I go in and I ask him, and still I'm talking like me. I'm not letting what she said affect me like, oh, I might have upset this delicate tendencies or whatever. I don't know. So I just said, I says, I'm so sorry. So I had just said to him, I go, let me ask you, you want me to do this like you guys in Hollywood think a tough guy is, or you want me to do this like what a real tough guy would do to you if he had to say this? And he said, no, how would you do it? And I delivered it in a way that he would understand. And I think after he had a little moisture, he agreed with me that I was scary. And then the next thing you know, Lori, I thought, when I left, I thought I'm never getting invited to anything ever again. Like she's going to lock me out, blacklist me. And I left. And I don't know what it was. 10 days go by. And now I'm sitting in a Greek diner. And you know, you're from the Bronx. The Greek diners are always the best. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. You got to have the Greek diner, right, boys? Right? You got to have the boys.
That's right. That's right.
So we're sitting there, me and one of those guys. And we had just come back from early in the morning. You know, it's the best time to go shopping when you're Italian in the airport. You go real early when it's dark because you get the super saver fares. And I was at Tamiami Airport, and as we were driving, this giant box of Louis Vuitton bags falls off this transport thing, and it kind of fell off, and I couldn't catch up with the guy, so we had to take the bags, and we put in my trunk. There's about 30 or 40 Louis Vuitton bags from Italy in there. So, you know, I said, oh, we're going to have to go sell these things now. We're stuck with them. What are we going to do? So we're on the way back. We're parked. We're having breakfast. And they call me. You're working with De Niro. You're working with De Niro. I go, what? He goes, you got the part. Hal Ramis loved it. He thought you were scary as shit. He wants you. I go, oh, great. Okay, great.
Oh, my God.
I get up. Next thing it hits you. You know when you get information and then all of a sudden it hits you, holy mackerel. Like when you find out you're pregnant or something like that, I was like, holy mackerel, it really hit me now. Holy mackerel, it's real. So all of a sudden it hit me. Oh my God, it's real. I got the part. I'm going to be doing this movie and I'm going to be trying to whack De Niro. And he's one of my all-time heroes. I pop up out of the chair and I'm like moving around like this. I go, okay. My eggs didn't even come yet. And I'm like, okay, I got to get the hair and makeup. First off, I don't even got any hair. What makeup? You know what I mean? And I'm running like I gotta go somewhere and do something. and the old man goes like this. Hey, Vinny, come here. What? Sit down. We gotta go get rid of those bags in the trunk. You see that? After we get rid of those bags, you can, and he goes just like this. You can run along and play with those actors or whatever they do out there.
Oh my gosh. That was the main concern, was getting rid of the bags. Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah, you know, it happens. You know, every once in a while, some valuable bump hits a truck. It falls off. You got to bring it in. You can't find the owner. What are you going to do?
I knew that my wife was going to enjoy it. I heard the story. You told it a little bit different. But I knew my wife was going to enjoy that story.
Absolutely.
Louise,
thank you, Louise. Love New York.
I love her. She's awesome.
She's awesome. We talk to her often.
Weapon. I gotta get you guys weapons. I'll bring it to you in New York.
I'm glad you did that because I was just going to ask you about that.
Okay, what is that?
That's a keychain. Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's hear your pitch. Maybe it's better than mine. I'll use it.
No. It's a self-defense.
Self-defense. Yeah. Okay. What do we use that for?
Okay. First off, you have to remember that this was created because we got hit in 9/11. Post 9/11, the flight attendants were terrified. Nobody knew what was going on. and they were looking for ideas. I found out what had happened through the FBI and the FAA, how the planes were taken, what happened exactly, and how they killed all the flight attendants. So in my mind, I thought there was something we could have done to fix that, and it should never happen again. So, but how do you train individuals who are between 21 and 55 that never did anything more physical than push a cart or open a can of soda? They're not trained for this kind of thing. So how do you work with that? Well, first, it can't be more than 3 moves, as we know, as combatants. Any more than 3, nobody ever uses it in the real world. Just doesn't happen. Okay? So you have this weapon, and it is long enough to fit in your hand. So this can interact over your ulna or radius bone with the styloid process, which will then lock out the wrist or the arm, okay? Then by depressing it around the bone and putting pressure on it for like law enforcement MPs, it makes it's for a non-compliant subject compliance without doing damage to the subject of tasing them or beating the crap or shooting them. This here, you have a keychain on it. So let's say that you're just walking to your car. Ladies are always walking to their car. Naturally, you know your head shouldn't be in your phone. It should be in your hand. As you're walking, somebody grabs you. You just make a circle, pull down. You hyperextend the wrist. The guy runs to the hospital. Somebody comes close to you. You X like this. You rake the keys right across the face. Gets rid of the average idiot. Somebody comes up close to you, puts hands on you. This is already in your hands. Rib strike, rib strike. So many. 1,000 ways to give pleasure to a non-invited individual.
Wow. Give pleasure.
Yeah, we got to tell our audience where you could order that.
Yes, please.
Because I was looking to order for my wife.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Oh, was that?
That's why I was kept looking.
Yes. He's so romantic.
Okay, well, anybody can reach me out through, instant message on Facebook. And my guy right now is doing a website. He's redoing everything so that we're all set post-COVID stuff.
Right.
So, and then there'll be more, very accessible. But everybody's got to get them through me. The Martial Arts History Museum has them. I donated a bunch there because as he sells them, he gets to keep that and use it, for the museum. And also when I come to New York, to Atlantic City, I'm going to have a bunch of them there, and I'm going to do one block is for jujitsu, and the other block will strictly be for this weapon.
Okay, good, because we'll be there.
So, Vince, what is the name of it?
It's called the Patriot Keychain.
The Patriot Keychain. Right. I'm going to show a couple comments because as soon as you started talking about it, the comments started blowing.
I know Luis got it already.
Okay, so Jane was like, "Oh, they need one. The Patriot stick." Okay. Louise says she has hers. She has it on hers, her keychain, I'm assuming, and she feels naked without it. Love it. It's like the American Express card that never leave home without.
She's so great.
Yeah, I saw Louise post about it one time that she got it, that she received it. That's how I found out.
Quite honestly, it truly is something very as simple as it gets. And if you do get into that kind of a scenario where somebody really does have their hands on you with bad intentions, it truly will do the job under duress instead of being lost at sea, reaching for mace or pepper spray or, it's always there. The only thing is it comes on a Vimeo link and you spend a few minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes, a couple of times a week, learning how to hold it, how to grip it, and let it become accustomed to your hand. That's why the keychain's big enough to swing so it doesn't get stuck, and literally this is polycarbonate injection mold, and then the hands were gripped to fit the fingers. So it's definitively not going to break, and they can't take it out of your hand as long as, a martial artist that knows how to disarm somebody is going to disarm you if they get the opportunity, let's face it. Other than that, somebody's going to pull on it. They're never going to get it out of your hand, ever.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I teach a self-defense class, and I used to do it for people that got raped, women that got raped with the RISE program. And people always used to talk about mace. And the dangerous things about that is that when you pick up, sometimes people are facing that
it's
the wrong
facing
way.
the wrong direction.
So they spray themselves instead of, So I never recommended that but I like the stick idea, the Patriot stick idea. I bought my wife one of those things that open up.
Oh, the retractable baton. Yeah.
You just go like this, you open up.
Yeah, that thing is no joke.
Because things are crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny because, well, it's not funny, but you bought it because at one point I think my daughter had left, my oldest daughter had left her car open and someone had taken something out of her car, and just that fear, it's just sort of puts things in perspective. Like, people don't care, they don't respect you, they don't respect your personal property. So we're females, we have to protect ourselves, and you're always talking about that. So I think that is really great, and there are several people who have it already. And Daryl said he wants to get it
wants one for his daughter.
His daughter. Louise says a few friends bought it too. Everyone needs one.
All the ladies in my life that I know all carry them.
That's good. That's good. So that moves me to my next question, because you train. Do you want to read that, huh?
Yeah, he's an instructor in close quarter combat and Japanese jiu-jitsu, and he instructs the U.S. military special forces, U.S. federal agencies, and law enforcement. That is pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Can you talk a little bit about the close quarter combat? Because I think, with that, did you show a couple of moves or whatever that would be considered close quarter?
Techniques, yes, ma'am. People who work with firearms understand you got a 21 or a bladed weapon. Understand you got a 21-foot kill radius potential that you're working with in law enforcement. Kill zone 6-8 feet, and everybody knows within 3 to 6 feet you're probably better off with a blade than a handgun, because you can move in faster, then he can actually skin it and shoot it. But if somebody has a firearm and they're so many feet away and they're already drawn up on you, anybody who thinks that they're going to take that weapon away with that much distance, those are the kind of people that get people killed.
That's
you. How do we say, opportunity meets opportunity meets the training at that moment. It's not so much as not only knowing the technique, but being able to carry it out when you need it. People have to understand that the adrenaline is going, the endorphins are flying, you definitely got the shakes, you're nervous, you're moving abnormally, not the same way that you move in a normal thing. Your pulmonary system, no matter what, the minute your adrenaline kicks in, you start breathing heavy. That's it. That's just one of the things as a fighter we learn to control, because we start breathing heavy. And if somebody's truly going to hurt you, let's face it, other than shoot you like that from far away, they're going to have to put hands on you. Thus, the best thing to do is work from the extreme close quarter. What happens if they're right up on you? Start there, 0 point, and then outward. So listen, sight, breath, and structure. Sight, breath, structure. Those are the 3 pillars to take away to finish a person in a combative arena. I don't know anything about sports. I've never been in any tournament of any sort ever. I've never, ever done anything like that. If anything I've ever done, even if I got in a ring, I'd be disqualified in 6 seconds. I don't know how to do any of those things.
Totally understand.
What we show is how to stop the aggression right there. That's it. It can't get past you. That's it. So with that mindset, you have a combatant mindset when you're making contact, where somebody else might not be as committed to their action, whether it be aggressor, and you make the cost of this encounter too high price for him.
Yes. Understood.
Everything you said makes sense.
Yeah, because normally they're not really expecting you to fight back They're just expecting to overpower you. So you catch them by surprise. You get the element of surprise.
You know, we always make fun because my wife only had one fight. And back then, well, the way I met her was that she came to my aerobic kickboxing class, but she was trying to do Thai ball at home. So she had one fight, and she threw one kick, and the girl went down. That was it. That was the only fight she had. So, how did you get training the special forces?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I'm going to put it delicately. I have a friend at the State Department that actually was the guy who brought back the $1 billion when they found it buried that Saddam took. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
There was $1 billion missing. They sent over a State Department guy, investigator, with a Delta team, and that was my friend. He actually stayed in the palace. Then that friend brought me to Fort Bragg, where they have a school of special warfare there. And then I went taught at FLETC, which is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, with 70 of the U.S. federal agencies. Instructors instruct their cadre. Then you get placed to your particular place of operations.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, your reputation just goes. And, you know, I love sharing. I love teaching. I love seeing people grow. I can't stand watching people protect their rice bowl when it's antiquated just for the fact that you think you're worried about a gig or a job. If you learn something from another instructor, take that, apply it. Don't reject it because you fear it. You didn't get where you got by being afraid. You got where you got by journeying, by going to the edge. Why not take that advanced knowledge and apply it to the base you already have instead of rejecting it because the idea wasn't yours in the first place? I see that in these higher positions in law enforcement because they're so nervous of the regurgitation of antiquated techniques, especially when you take away the chokehold.
Exactly. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense. You always got to experiment and find out what works and what doesn't work. You know, because of hierarchy, people are afraid to say, oh, you know, I can't go that way because of hierarchy. But in reality, you got to find out what works. You know, I found out what worked more in the street.
People don't know. Moses Powell used to say it all the time. You know, you could be a dojo killer, dojo walking around, but can you fight? And you don't know that you can fight until you've been in the street alone, outnumbered, and not feeling good. Now, fight.
Right. You know, when I was 16 years old, they brought me over to, and I didn't know that this was, you know, I was young and I was still learning the language. They brought me over to teach the Fort Apache in the Bronx. Remember that?
Of course.
So they
How could you forget that?
Artillery cap, and they wanted me to teach them, you know, the martial art because I was getting into trouble beating up people outside in the street. So they brought me in and said, oh, this kid is fantastic. You got to, you know, have him teach the artillery cap because back then they didn't have guns. So then I went over there and I started with my 8-point blocking system. And the guy went, no, I want you to teach them what you were doing outside in the street. You know, don't do that. Do what you were doing in the street. And then I had to go back and figure out what was I doing in the street. So we simplified to 3 points. That's it. And then they were able
you say that. But that's exactly the directive the general gave to teach operations. You have to keep it as simple as possible. You got to keep it so simple.
Mm-hmm.
So simple.
Yeah. The more complicated, the less work.
Yeah. They don't have that kind of time. Their training block doesn't provide for it. And quite honestly, guys won't train unless they're getting paid. They look at it as an extra day they got to go to work.
That's true. That's true. So, do you have any movies coming up? Are you going to read some more?
Yeah, a little bit. But I was going to just touch on, since we're still in the, you know, talking about self-defense and stuff like that. I just wanted to bring up your unscripted show, Call Vinny, and what you do on that show.
That was a pilot that we shot that the Outdoor Channel paid for. And Joe Mantegna, the actor from Criminal Minds,
of course,
and Dan Ram, who's his partner in Aquaviva Productions, they're the ones that put up to do this show for me. And basically, okay, when I started teaching, I was teaching a woman's self-defense class in Studio City at a place called Bally's. One of the ladies that kept coming in for self-defense or $5 classes or whatever, I had about 30, 40 women that would come in for the class. The one woman that was coming in about her fourth class, she comes in, she's crying. And I said, wait, what happened? You okay? And she gives me this big hug and she says, I owe you so much. You don't understand. I said, no, you paid your dues. I don't even know what you're talking about. And she goes, no, you don't understand. And then she completely told me this story, how she was about 35 years old. And she said for like the last 18 years, she's been going to therapist after therapist after psychotherapist. She can't go to sleep without pills because she constantly has this nightmare that she's being choked out and killed and raped. And she's constantly dealing and waking up with sweats. And this is something that's so real to her. Every day she keeps waking up. So finally, I had taught him a simple thing when you're being choked, where to touch under the clavicular notch, turn somebody away, angle levels in direction, move them away. She practiced it a few times. She got it down so good. She put down a bunch of people that it fixed her psychological fear of not being able to defend herself in the dream state. So that night she went and had the same dream. But look, she was laying down and I had indicated to her laying down is no different than being against a wall. All she did was put the finger, she moved him over, she jumped up, she got on top of him, and she went, you'll never hurt me again. She goes, and I broke the cycle. Yeah. She goes, and I don't have, so that hit me. And I was like, wow. She goes, no, you don't understand. I don't have to have pills. I don't have to do anything anymore. And it occurred to me that there's a link definitively to the subconscious of protection, even without having to go through the situation again. The subconscious will heal itself through the application of newly learned information for perfection.
Wow,
that's awesome.
So those of you who know, the show's guests were victims of different types of assaults, carjackings, domestic abuse, robbery, or other types of violent crimes.
Well, may I tell you that girl? Because the reason, the inspiration for the show was this girl. This girl had told me, then we found out later on, her father had been sneaking in molesting her for years, and she blocked it all. And that's after she could do self-defense, she turned off the fear and she saw his face. So talk about a deep psychological fix.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so going from that, I was telling Danny the story. He goes, you should be doing this for people. So they put out a casting, and backstage, we had 1,700 people answer. They narrowed it down to people here in LA. They narrowed it down to, it had to be a real person that went through a real tragedy. This is not, we don't want anything fake or made up.
Right.
And what the test was going to be is if I could duplicate the process with a new victim that we did for her. And if we can, that's something that we can keep doing. That's good. So that's what the pilot was. The girl came, worked with her. Then I had one of my black belts. We set it up in a room. We got her in a hotel room. We redid all the same exact situation that she was terrified in. And then we had a black belt attack her.
Okay.
She fought her way out of it. She came out of that room. She jumped in the air like she won the AFC championship. She's screaming, I did it. She goes, I did it. I put him down. I put him. And we interview her right afterwards.
Right.
And she was illuminated. I'll send you the pilot. She was illuminated. She wasn't able to be touched by men for like the last 5 years. What it turned out was, on her first vacation, she went somewhere to a fancy hotel in Red Rock, or was that Sedona, where the Red Rocks are. And she stayed at like a real nice hotel, the first time ever going anywhere. And while she was there, the assistant manager asked her if her parents were coming or anybody else coming. She goes, no, I'm here alone. I just wanted to go on a trip. And then he came into the room and molested her and did these things to her. And that was what set her in the downward spiral of her psychological, not having a man touch her. And she was a kid. You know, she was only almost 18 when she went on this trip. She said she was barely 18. So, you know, in those years of development, it really affected her. So we put her through this, and she came out the same way. So the pilot was fantastic. When you watch it, I dare you not to get emotional watching it. It's that kind of a show. I don't care.
It's emotional now. Yeah. Just hearing about it is emotional. But that's an awesome thing. That's an awesome thing to do.
It really is. Very, very, very much so. Louise is saying, can you send it my way too? Louise, Vince, if it's okay, when we post this video, well, it's on YouTube already. But when I post it, I'm going to add a little bit, you know, to the description and post the link for the pilot with it. Is that?
Sure. My pilot isn't on YouTube.
No,
you saw it?
No,
okay.
This is live on YouTube as well.
I got you.
Okay.
So tell us what you have coming up as far as acting and comedy. I know probably that was a little slow for you too, as it was for everyone. So tell us what you have coming up, if you have anything coming up.
Well, like I said, we're looking forward to the return of Dragon Fest out here, you know, and that's still up in the air, and we're then the 2022 mega event.
Yes.
Right. Which is going to be, that'll probably be one of the greatest events in the last 20 years because so many people miss so many people and so many guys passed away.
Yeah.
You know? As far as what I did, you know, there's a movie we didn't talk about, and you'll probably appreciate it. It's a faith-based film I did, and it is called Heavenly. Oh my God, it's so crazy when you do so many movies. You can't.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Miracle Kid. And basically this kid starts talking to a statue. It comes alive, and it's Jesus incarnate. And he ends up being the only one that can see and talk to Jesus. And he starts healing people. And I had done a movie with Tom Sizemore called The Fly Boys, where he was my boss and I was a gangster. And I played like a Luca Brasi kind of character. So they redid this character again. He was the boss, and this kid got shot, and he sends me to kidnap the miracle kid to make him do a miracle for the boss. I gotta go. He sends me. He goes, kidnap the Jesus kid. Go get the kid.
So you kidnapped.
It's a hilarious. Oh, it's fun. Listen, it's such a funny. It's a faith-based film. It's hilarious, and oh my God, it's a wonderful kids film. You know, you feel great. You know,
is it streaming, Vince, or is it on DVD?
You can get it on Prime. I think has it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, Miracle Kid.
We can actually look that up and then just post the link right when we post this information because that'll be good for everyone to find it a little bit easier.
So did we talk about everything? We talked about the comedy.
We talked about film. We talked about comedy. We talked about martial arts. Yeah, yeah. It was such a pleasure having you on. Hysterical. My face hasn't hurt so much since we had Fran Capo on last year.
She's great. She's great.
Yeah.
We
had a long history with her now.
Yeah.
So
you're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to embrace everyone and have fun and laugh and share some positivity everywhere.
And support each other.
I love that.
And support each other.
100%.
We saw that Sifu Gover was on.
Yeah, he came on and said
hello. He just said hello. So just want to let you know.
I keep seeing things pop up. Yeah, this is the first time on this particular one. This is cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let me ask you, because I've used different kinds of things before, and do I look like I got more hair on this app?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
You actually have an afro.
I thought I had the Jerry curl working. I blew the whole thing off, man. I thought I had it. I used to have one. I told him. The cat, we were talking. We had the cat on the other day on the Mega Show. And he said, don't worry, we're all losing hair. And I said, don't worry. We asked God to give us something else in place of hair and somewhere else. And he did. He gave us hair that comes out of our ears like, forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
You can braid that stuff over here.
Oh my gosh. One more last comment from Jane. Vince, we will see you at the Mega in Atlantic City. Jane, we'll see you too.
We will see you
all. Vince, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast.
That was awesome.
We will send you the link for this YouTube when I post everything in the information in the description section. So thank you so much for joining us on Tweed Talk.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's such a pleasure, honor being on your show. And thank you to your audience. They're great. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too.
Oh.
Okay. So there you have it. Worth the wait.
Yeah. my cheeks are hurting from like smiling and laughing so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Sometimes, some of the things it says are for real.
And I don't know when. He's like, no, that's
when,
a true story. Like, okay, so I shouldn't be laughing.
When we met him, the only thing I did was take pictures of him, but we didn't take a picture with him.
Okay.
So,
we'll
when we see him, we got to do that.
2021 is going to be a great year.
It's going to be.
Because we were so basically we're away from everything on lockdown for an entire year, and everything that we go to during the year, whether it be November in Times Square in the city or January to Atlantic City, everything was shut down. So now everyone's like raring to get there. So
we want to make sure
excited.
We want to make sure that we get his book. Yes. Because I saw it and I said I got to order this book, because when we were doing authors, when people right. I wanted to bring him on back then because I saw Vinnyism. It's called. Okay.
So you guys, when we post this, I'll make sure we put the link for the film, Miracle Kid.
Right.
I will put the information to get the Patriot Keychain, which I think is really, really important.
Very important.
Yes. And we'll post his Facebook information, because he said that's how, you can get the Patriot stick.
Yeah, and he's working on his website.
Patriot Keychain.
Too, so
working on the website for that. Yeah, we will do all of that.
That was fun. I could have just stayed longer. That's why I didn't want to bring anybody else in when he was.
Yeah, I understand why. I understand.
There's more things that we could have talked to him about.
Yeah.
But that was fun. Thank you for joining us. And next week is going to be another Music Monday.
Music Monday, yes.
We're going to introduce you to some new artists, and that pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be our third Music Monday, where we have 2 musicians coming on, showing some of their new music. Yeah, I can't wait. And I know Luis like that, and Jane. We should have Jane sing one day. Jane and Louise should do a duet. That's awesome. That would be pretty cool. All right, and with that, we're going to say what? Love. Nice. Okay. So we are going to say. Thank you, Vince. You too. I'm just clicking through the comments. Just ignore me. Just ignore me. Keep talking, Pedro. No, that's okay. We're just gonna. With that, join us next week when we bring in this new artist to you. We will see the little when we post the promo. Yes. Right. And it should be fun. Yeah. Hey, let's do it, Jane. Okay, we should bring him on and open up the show singing. Hey, you know what? Is there karaoke in Atlantic City? I'm sure there is. We need to find karaoke in Atlantic City. If not, we bring a machine with us. Okay, So as always,
thank you, fam. My cousin's saying great show.
Oh, thank you,
Vince, do you want to come back on and say something else, Vince? It looks like you're trying to get our attention.
Okay, great.
Hold on.
Karaoke. You're saying karaoke. You're doing karaoke. Let me tell you, we just got where we could go outside. If I was ever to start singing, the fire department shut everything back down again. Believe me when I tell
you. Joe karaoke.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Vince.
All right.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us live on Tweed Talks. Yes, Vince is going to do karaoke in Atlantic City, and we're going to hold him to it.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my guitar too.
All right.
So with that, we're going to say love, peace, and harmony. Yes. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you very much, Vince. That was awesome.